Thick saliva drips onto the stone floor as the massive beast prepares to strike. The three-headed Cerberus looms over Vikir and Granuil, radiating purple energy. The system identifies the 7-meter-tall watchdog of hell as an A-rank threat, notorious for tearing apart souls escaping the underworld. While Vikir stands calmly holding his reward sack, Granuil grips his weapon in terror. Above them, the grotesque floor guide, Barghest, mocks the duo. It asks if this overwhelming challenge finally balances things out after Vikir slaughtered the Hellhounds. Flashing a grin of razor-sharp teeth, Barghest cheerfully announces this as the floor's final mission. The Cerberus roars with purple lightning while the guide simply tells the students to survive. Overwhelmed by the monster's terrifying pressure, Granuili's spirit breaks. He drops his weapon and falls to his knees in defeat. Tears stream down his face as he stares hopelessly at the beast, sobbing that he cannot fight anymore. Vikir then lifts his sack of stat-boosting orbs and dumps a handful of magical candies directly into his mouth, leaving Granuil in absolute shock. Chewing the hard orbs loudly, Vikir tosses the empty sack aside and marches forward to face the beast. Even Barghest is surprised by his lack of fear. It is strange for a cursed boy with reduced physical stats to stand so confidently before an elite monster. Swallowing the orbs, Vikir casually notes that the magical candies still taste disgusting. He remembers that some people in the past couldn't eat them because of their awful flavor. However, his body now glows with a powerful red aura as the massive influx of stats takes effect. Acknowledging his weakened state, Vikir declares he needs this boost to fight the monster. He summons his red aura blade, the Beelzebub sword. A system window displays his updated status. Though he remains at level 1 with the Sewer Rat Hunter title, his strength, agility, and stamina are now massively boosted, making him ready for the boss fight. Vikir goes on the offensive, swinging his red aura blade in a fiery arc. The powerful slash clashes against the dark body of the Cerberus, sending sparks flying across the courtyard. Unfazed, the three-headed beast lunges forward with incredible speed to snap at him. Vikir brings his blade up to parry the bite and braces himself against a heavy paw strike. Watching from the sidelines, Granuil stands paralyzed in awe. Even Barghest hovers in stunned silence as the level 1 student goes toe-to-toe with an elite underworld beast. The Cerberus raises its paw, charging dark purple energy for a claw strike. Vikir reacts instantly, narrowly evading the swipe as razor-sharp claws tear through the space where he just stood. Seizing the opening, Vikir launches a high kick into the beast's central jaw. The impact snaps its head back, leaving the Cerberus furious as purple lightning crackles around its fangs. Vikir suddenly realizes he has miscalculated the beast's recovery speed and raw power. Before Vikir can strike again, the Cerberus counterattacks, sending the swordsman flying backward into the stone debris. The dust settles to reveal Vikir standing injured in the rubble. A deep gash crosses his chest and stomach, soaking his torn uniform in blood. He coughs violently, spitting a mouthful of blood as the pain sets in. Vikir glares back at the monster with fierce determination. He realizes the oppressive pressure radiating from this creature is different from what he expected. Comparing it to his past life, Vikir realizes a terrifying truth. He has fought a Cerberus before, but because this beast is summoned from the deepest abyss, its size and ferocity are on a much deadlier level. To regain the upper hand, Vikir kicks up dust to confuse the beast. Before the monster can react, Vikir launches a fast upward thrust. His red aura blade pierces straight through the monster's jaw and erupts out its skull. Catching the beast by surprise, he twists the blade to inflict maximum damage. Pulling his weapon free, Vikir leaps backward to create distance as dark blood sprays from its head. Despite the wound, the Cerberus gnashes its fangs in a frenzied rage of purple lightning. Vikir steels himself, resolving that despite the tower's curse on his body, he will not lose. With an earth-shattering roar, the massive hound charges forward with terrifying speed, tearing up the ground. Refusing to back down, Vikir charges head-on, aiming his glowing blade straight into the monster's gaping jaws. They collide with devastating impact, creating an explosion of purple and red energy that shatters the stone floor beneath them. Watching helplessly from a distance, a terrified Granuil screams Vikir's name as dust and debris engulf the fighters. For a tense moment, only the glowing eyes of the Cerberus are visible. Then, the beast's expression goes slack, and a fountain of blood erupts from its neck as it collapses. As the dust clears, Granuil and Barghest stare in silence. A massive pool of blood spreads across the courtyard from the fallen giant. Vikir stands victorious over the Cerberus. He knows he will never be stopped by a trial like this. The system reacts to his impossible feat, announcing that level 1 warrior Vikir is the first to hunt the B-rank Hellhound pack and the A-rank Cerberus, granting him both great and awe-inspiring achievement rewards. Granui stands frozen in shock. He struggles to understand how a supposedly weak archer has just slaughtered the Guardian of Hell single-handedly. Staring at the Cerberus in disbelief, Granui realizes the truth. While he knows Vikir is unusual, this physical prowess means his classmate has hidden his true strength all along. Hovering near the beast, Barghest stammers in shock. It nervously asks if Vikir has actually killed the Cerberus, admitting it has never seen anyone capable of such a feat. Unfazed by the guide's panic, Vikir coldly demands his reward. When Barghest acts confused, Vikir points out that a monster of that rank always drops something valuable. Glaring at the fairy, Vikir warns the guide not to raise the trial's difficulty without providing a proper reward. Terrified by the bloodlust radiating from a level 1 human, Barghest frantically backpedals. Realizing its life is in danger, the fairy quickly confirms a reward is prepared. The guide hastily produces metal vats filled with glowing orbs. Barghest explains these are limited rewards for the early stages: red candies for strength, green for agility, and blue for health. Granui's eyes light up at the volume of the reward. He excitedly points out that with this loot, they can become incredibly strong instantly. However, Vikir sifts through the pile and finds exactly what he wants: a single dark orb. The system identifies it as a black candy, a special item that permanently increases the physical resistance stat. Vikir knows this is an incredibly valuable find, as physical resistance is one of 3 ultra-rare stats. Without a second thought, he eats the black orb. A radiant aura envelops Vikir as his wounds close. The system announces that physical resistance has been unlocked, granting passive damage reduction. His status window displays his level 1 rank, his previous title, and the new Hell's Dog Breeder title. With his physical resistance officially registered, he only has 2 hidden attributes left to discover. Vikir smiles with satisfaction. Unlocking this rare attribute is lucky, as physical resistance is an innate trait that cannot be easily cultivated in the real world. Now that it is unlocked, it will naturally increase alongside his other attributes. His thoughts are interrupted by Granuil, who nervously asks if Vikir might share some candies since he helped gather the hellhounds. Before Vikir can respond, Barghest cheerfully offers the services of a candy shop. A glowing shop interface materializes. The fairy explains it buys and sells candies, highlighting a special exchange where 300 regular candies can buy a golden candy. This orb will instantly raise the user's level by 1. Barghest pitches the deal, noting that leveling up naturally boosts all stats. Vikir stares at the window, instantly seeing the system's trap. He realizes the tower floods participants with candies to tempt them into leveling up quickly. If his only goal is to regain his original strength, taking the levels would be logical. However, Vikir remembers from past heroes' memoirs that the tower heavily favors the underdog. Whenever a weak participant accomplishes a great feat, the rewards are exponentially more valuable than if a strong participant does the same task. Thinking about the terrifying bosses ahead, he realizes the tower's twisted logic. Because he is strictly level 1, the system will always classify him as weak, regardless of his combat stats. By maintaining level 1 while slaughtering high-ranking monsters, he will keep receiving the highest tier of rewards. Concluding that leveling up is forbidden for his strategy, Vikir rejects the fairy's offer, stating they will trade later. Barghest accepts the decision with a disappointed tone. Suddenly, the ruined courtyard trembles and breaks apart. The system announces the end of the second floor's mission, recording 69 survivors. It then declares that all remaining participants will be dropped into the same location for the next trial. The ground gives way entirely, plunging Vikir, Granuile, and the fairy into a swirling portal that drags them deeper into the abyss tree. Vikir's eyes glow with determination as they fall. The system confirms their departure and announces their arrival on the 3rd floor, the second section of the familiar land. Preparing for the dangers ahead, the system finalizes his new status. Alongside his physical stats and unlocked resistance, his Hell's Dog Breeder title is integrated. It provides a massive damage boost against canine monsters and extends the duration of inflicted ailments, ensuring his strikes will be even deadlier moving forward.